XRP can bring financial freedom. Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff. That is Chip. We
Good job.
are. I didn't mess that one up. Man,
No,
today
it's
we
good.
have we have an amazing show for you guys today. XRP can bring financial freedom, digital fiat, a threat to civilization. Man, I'll tell you what, Chip, you know what I've found and discovered after talking to hundreds, if not thousands of people? People want freedom. And more than that, people want crypto freedom. That's what it's all about.
Or just freedom in general. But for the sake of the show, we'll file it under crypto.
Crypto
Just
freedom.
I think any kind of freedom. We'll just check that box tonight for that. So that kind of works. So I'm ready to get going. You guys ready to go? Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Oh, it's magic.
Magic, baby.
Give me some of that crypto freedom.
There it is, the James Rule Crypto Show featuring James Rule. What's up, James
You were
Rule?
confused.
If you're confused, it's the
no
James Rule
idea.
Crypto Show. Look, every once in a while you go through a rebranding, man. You know, that's how you have to do it.
James, what do you talk about on your show?
I'm gonna go with
seriousness.
I'm gonna go with Crypto Show. I'll tell you what he needs to
Crypto.
talk about. What he needs to talk about is NFTs, specifically the badass Yetis.
That's right.
We took a little heat in the comments, Jeff. Someone said, "Stop shilling the badass Yetis." I'm like, "It's our project. What do you want us to? What other
That's right.
project should we shill? We shill everyone else's project. My gosh."
And everybody else is showing for us. See that? Davey X. People want badass Yetis. They don't just want
Hell, they
crypto.
do want badass
So-
Yetis. Of course they do.
Check mark, plugged in, party time.
Right on. Yeah. The Mofo party plan, Jeff. The Mofo party plan. That's what we're doing. That's
So
what
we
we're
got-
here.
Chip, we got a lot to talk about. And a
There's
little
some
to talk
stuff.
about.
There's a couple
some
things
stuff.
on the agenda.
There's a couple things.
I always,
John Deaton had some things. Gary Gensler had some things.
yeah,
you got some
unfortunately, nobody
things?
cares about Gary Gensler's things. I saw a couple of James Rule's tweets from earlier, and I was like, especially, yeah, welcome. Especially when he talks about Gary Gensler, I'm like, I lose interest. Yeah, lots of interest, zero interest. But you know, you have to go through it. You have to talk through it. Look at Fernando's like, hey guys, that still comic cracks me up, man. Funniest thing. He's got those comics in my household. Yes, that's correct. That is correct. So, Jeff, you know, it's always good when you see like a really positive article out there because there's not a lot of positive things going on. I mean, I guess there is, but it's kind of like selective. But this one here, I saw this one.
My volume's low. I gotta
Crypto-
I gotta pump up the volume.
Pump up your volume, man. It's a little bit low, Jeff.
Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume.
Pump up the volume.
All right. So I'm gonna pump it up. I'm gonna keep pumping it up until someone says stop pumping it up.
I think that's good, Jeff. I think I'm good right there. Yeah. So
Everyone's
IOTA,
like, pump it down.
this was in Crypto News Flash. This is like one of those. Well, every once in a while, we'll do a story
IOTA.
from here, but yeah, it's like so. IOTA, Ripple, and Stellar to conquer $1 trillion market with SWIFT under ISO 2020022 regulation, according to a report. Delova, and then it gets into it here. It says Ripple, IOTA, and Stellar offer solutions that could serve Jeff as an untapped industry should all the networks come together to meet the needs of the demographics in that industry. Billions with a B, billions and billions of dollars could be
Billions.
recorded in revenue, according to a report from Finexter Research. And which is low value cross-border payments, very significant for a large number of companies and businesses globally, with these transactions having a major impact on the real world. The low value cross-border payments is key part of the global economy. And here they say that low border payment are the lifeblood of the global economy, from international business conducted by your SMEs to overseas purchases from consumers and remittance flows. These transactions have real and tangible impact. And we know this. We've known this for a long time. But what they're really kind of doing here is they're sort of singling out Ripple, IOTA, and Stellar. You know, but I like what they're leading with Ripple because
You got to put it at the forefront. But Chip, you know, it's interesting. IOTA, I kind of lost interest in IOTA. IOTA was a thing back in 2017.
right? I
and
didn't even know it was still
ramped
around.
up. I had no idea. I remember selling when it was at its high, and it was a really nice run up. I think I got it like 70, 80 cents, whatever its high was. I don't know. I'm going to call it $4. It might have been like $1, but whatever its high was, I sold at that point, and then it just was like a downward spiral from there, and I never followed up with it ever again. But that was IOTA, and there were a couple others around that time that they seemed like they were doing things. I think it was IOTA that was partnered with BMW, and they were doing some stuff behind the scenes. Maybe it was a completely different project, but then that just kind of disappeared also.
Well, they linked to this article. They say IOTA and EU create a position paper for the future of smart contracts, digital identity, and supply chain management. Because they linked to this other one too, which was this one here, talking about unlocking the potential of the low-value cross-border payments. So just kind of like cross-linking inside. But this was the Finextra one that was put out on April 25th. This is kind of what the article, sort of the whole crux of this article right here, talking about where they are and the opportunity. We kind of aware of it, but again, it's nice to see where they recognize it. I was kind of surprised to see IOTA there. I would have said Ripple and Stellar in there, but even there's probably some other ones too that, especially if you think about XDC is another one that's more trade. But again,
they would mention that above IOTA.
I would think so.
I don't understand how they put IOTA back into the equation.
This is the things with these articles sometimes, Jeff. You gotta really just kind of like look through them. But thanks to Ripple's ISO 20022 membership. Membership? I don't even know what membership. Using RippleNet, customers can connect to different global financial institutions while using a single standardized API. Yeah, I mean, it's just a more updated, modern messaging that was updated from the original Swift one, which was just like, hello, this, and then the amount of the money. And that was pretty much it. So it was pretty basic, quite honestly.
That's exactly it. So there's no IOTA buyback committee? What? Is there an XRP buyback committee? Is that a thing? Is that still a thing?
Jeff, how can that be? How can there not be an IOTA
there should be
committee?
There should be an XLM buyback committee. There should be an IOTA buyback committee. There should be a Bitcoin.
No damn sense.
Should be a Bitcoin buyback committee. I'm gonna start the Bitcoin Cash. What's that? BCH. I'm gonna start the Bitcoin Cash buyback committee.
My next question is why, Jeff? Why would you want to do that? Just to be.
I don't know. Why not? Just
the buyback committee. There's going to be a buyback committee for everything. My gosh, I mean,
it really should be.
Yeah. So Grayman, thank you for that. Grayman says Chip and the other dude, much love, BRC20 and making bank. I think you're the other dude. What's up, other dude? What's up, Gray Man, for recognizing the Chipster in the house?
What's up, Gray Man?
Chipster gets the recognition, and you get the other dude. Why so disrespectful to Jeff?
I'm the dude.
The dude. No, you're not the dude. You're just a dude. I'm the dude.
Other dude. It's not even the dude.
You're the other dude. I'm the dude. You're the other dude.
And that sound effects was for Karma Carmichael out there.
Karma.
I would like to say thanks for all the great content on crypto. P.S. That sound effect, the one with that girl laugh, that's a classic. That is a classic.
And that's why it made its way.
And it never gets old.
I don't think it will get old, Jeff. That's like what happens when a joke just does not go over very well, and it just sort of like sinks as far, as fast as it rose, right? I mean, that's kind of like what you might expect. But Jeff, this one from the Daily Hodl here, let's cover this one here. This one here, it's just to say that first word, Jeff.
Hang on a minute. I got to mark that. Catastrophic.
It's a catastrophic. You can't get any worse than catastrophic, Jeff.
I had to look at that a couple of times just to make sure there wasn't a spelling mistake.
Catastrophic collapse in American standard of living.
Oh man, yeah. This is an interesting article, and I started thinking about it, and I really had to reflect a little bit. If you go back to the 70s, and early, mid, late 70s, I don't know, but when they had the super, I think it was probably late 70s with the long gas lines, high interest, everything was kind of out of control. The Jimmy Carter syndrome, and it impacted the standard of living, right? Because everything became a lot more expensive. You couldn't get gas. It changed how you did things, changed your whole, lifestyle. So I won't say quality of life. I mean, you can argue that in some countries that have a lot less, the quality of life is a lot higher, but the standard of living is a lot lower. So here, are we going to see, Chip, are we going to see a major impact, without even getting into this article, are we going to see a major impact on the standard of living in this country as the cost of goods go up? And will that continue to rise as you see a de-dollarization in other countries? Or is that whole de-dollarization thing with the whole BRICS nation, is that just going to fail and just going to implode on itself?
I don't know, but it's like, but there's like there's like more and more countries all over the place that do that. But this is according to, I mean, everyone's like having a lot to say about this, but quite honestly, Jeff, it's like, it's pretty much everyone's jumping in, right? It's like every time there's a trend, it's like now these are the countries that are all in, which is most of the countries. And then these are all the countries that are waiting to get in. Like I saw like, El Salvador on the list. I saw like, Argentina, Chile, a bunch of them just waiting to get, part of it. And before we jump into that, it's good. Gray Man, Jeff, just me having some fun. That's all. This is from Gray Man. Thank you for that. He says BRC20, NFT on Bitcoin, the next big thing.
That's right.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that, by the way. I've been keeping that. I don't know if it's the next big thing. It is a thing for now anyway.
Carry on. Don't listen to their BS. I don't know
who's
who's BS. I don't know.
I'm not sure who's BS. It might be our BS, Jeff. I don't know.
Could be
carry
our
on.
BS. It could be
who's going to carry on
BS,
without us? So it's so funny because I've seen there's another person doing a warning too. It's like issuing a warning. Jeff, let's issue our own warning. Now, first of all, we've been issuing this warning for a long time. Okay, so this
we said it first. You heard it here.
Peter
first.
St. Onge he issued this major warning of the fate of the U.S. dollar and the quality of life in America. And a new market update, St. Onge says the widespread de-dollarization is not a fear for the future. Instead, he says the stunning collapse is already on its way. Jeff, quick question about Jimmy Carter. Do you think, and I know he hasn't been well, but do you think he goes,
Oh, is he still alive?
He's been sick. I mean, he might even actually be I think I heard he was in hospice, but do you think he goes out knowing that he's not like one of the worst presidents anymore?
That must make him feel real good.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you got. And the best thing about this was I saw a tweet today, Jeff, and I probably have to pull it up. I know it doesn't have anything to do with crypto, but it does have to do with just reality. Like we're talking about here, like we're starting to see the signs everywhere. St. Onge says, hey, it's a stunning collapse. It's catastrophic and it's underway. And the dollar's share of the global reserves are falling from 73% in 2001 to 47% in 2021, 20 years later. And that's going to decline even more. He says that American sanctions are now fueling the flames, citing the fact that the U.S. froze $300 billion in Russian central bank dollars after the country instigated war with Ukraine, believes the global realization of the sanctions. He says if the U.S. dollar does continue on the path, we'll see soaring inflation. Oh, do you think? A catastrophic. Jay Huddle, I'd love to see that. We'd love to see NFTs. We'd love to see your NFTs in your what do you call it? Yeah, there you go. But you know what I'd love to see too? I'd love to see some badass Yetis like Jim D has on his. So if the US dollar does continue on the path, we'll see this soaring inflation, a catastrophic fall in American standard of living, and a US that falls off the world stage, not by choice, but by necessity, all of it, 100% of our own making. But then again, this is what happens when installed versus the opposite of that. But dollar plunged 8 percentage points in a single year to just 47%. We lost about double the entire share of the Chinese yuan. At that pace, US dollar would be eclipsed in about 6 years. Well, the good news.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear your feedback on that one.
Well, I was going to say the good news is that this regime is on its way out. You want to talk about a catastrophic failure? It doesn't get more catastrophic than this on every single sense.
Yeah, and I think as we look at this also, and you look at that statement, and you look at, okay, is the yuan or the renminbi or the digital yuan, is it going to be able to eclipse the U.S. dollar in value anytime soon? Now, one of the major issues that we have, and regardless of the BRICS forming and the 19 other countries that are flocking to it, and they're looking for a trade mechanism. So let's say China says we're done with the U.S. dollar. what do the rest of the countries do? So if China says, look, we're not going to use the US dollar for trade, so we're only going to use our digital yuan, you're going to either have to accept it or not accept it. And a lot of countries are going to say, look, I don't want to accept it. The BRICS come together. Let's say they put together their own trade token, their own stable coin, but maybe their stable coin ends up being a stable dollar-based coin. Maybe it's not even a stable yuan, but it's still pegged to the US dollar. So the big question out there, regardless of all the other things going on, and I think this is going to be significant because it's impacted by all the other things going on, which is going to be, is there going to ever be stability in the yuan, digital or otherwise? I say that that's not going to happen for a very, very long time, and there's still going to be a lot of hesitation by other countries to adopt the yuan, mainly because it's backed up by a regime that will destabilize their currency to impact, anything that is beneficial to their country and their trade policy. And they'll disrupt their currency. They'll devalue or otherwise, and they play that game with their currency. So I think that, and the fact that it's a communist country, that's going to make it very difficult.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like everyone thinks it's great. Like, yeah, it's going to be great. And look at the de-dollarization and blah blah. Man, it's untested. And guess what? I mean, you be careful who your bedfellows are, because sometimes that doesn't always work out the way you expected, Jeff. But I wanted to show this because I just can't understand. I just really can't, Jeff. Well, let me show this tweet. This happens to be from somebody from the current VP, or so-called VP, I should say. This is from Kamala Harris. And let's read this tweet out loud, Jeff. Created more jobs in 2 years than any presidency has created in 4. Unemployment's near its lowest rate in over 50 years. Our economic plan isn't working. Jeff, this is a blatant lie. This has nothing to do with anything based in reality. It's completely not based in reality. First of all, the last administration had the lowest unemployment ever. It was like fact. When things are just being like falling down, the walls are falling down, Rome is burning, and Nero's fiddling over here with this. Oh, it's the most impressive thing ever, and everything's fine, and there's nothing to worry about, Jeff. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's working. If this is the economic plan working, we've got really big troubles. And if you really believe this, I get you got to put out propaganda, make everything sound great. But I don't think this gets you anywhere, Jeff. Your thoughts?
Yeah. The fact that it's even coming from her, first and foremost, I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole after Kamala Harris, but her statement is absurd for many different reasons, and she's the last person that we want to listen to as she starts throwing around percentages of anything. I don't care if it's economic or otherwise.
Yeah.
But I do want to give a quick shout out here. Trying to find. I started. So I'm going to go through. There's a couple comments here I wanted to get to, but John said, "Hey guys," and I want to give John a shout out because he left a comment on the last video, and I think this is a great comment, and I wanted to read it. Said, "I really appreciate the way you guys present opposing viewpoints to squash any and all bias in your reporting. Hard to find in this space. Thank you, and keep it up." Chip, it's amazing when we get feedback like that, and there were a whole bunch of other similar. That one just kind of stood out right at the top, and I shared that one. You shared a couple others today, and that one I just want to say thank you for that comment. And it's great because here you guys are all chatting in the chat, but there's a whole other world that takes place because there's a lot of people that watch in the rewatch, and they like reading the comments too. And I see a lot of people interacting in the comments, and it's great if you guys can go on, leave some of those comments over there as well. Helps out tremendously. And then Brian's loving his Badass Yeti 101 Jalar. So I'm going to try to pull that one up here in a minute
that too. Sir John saying de-dollarization might seem like a positive thing for non-U.S. countries, but it's certainly bringing uncertainty, which most of the people oversee, being conservatives, being cautious. That's another really good point too. And it's like, it's again, when it's untested, you're unsure. And when you think about stability, that's a pretty good thing because uncertainty can be even more troubling potentially, right? So there's always that. That's a really good observation, Sir John. I really appreciate that one as well. What's this one say? Grab some Pepe while waiting for the settlement. I have a better idea, Kelsey. Why don't you grab yourself a badass Yeti? Let's do it. Grab yourself a badass Yeti. Just love how the badass Yeti. We're almost 30% minted, Jeff, which is fantastic. We're like 1%. I'm thinking one or two more bad Yetis would put us over that 30% mark. So, guys, if you want to, go ahead and get yourself a badass Yeti. Now, look at this, Jeff. Check this out. The SEC fines CoinMe $4 million. And another crypto crackdown continues. This is it comes in today. So CoinMe, let me just run through. Look at this. Look at the SEC here. Look at this graphic. Looks horrific. It's taking a big old, crap on the Bitcoin there. But the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission issued CoinMe, Up Global, and Neil Bergquist, who led both companies with combined fines of nearly $4 million. The fine announced by SEC on Friday, and this was because of the initial coin offering of the crypto asset called Up Token, which is now going to be known as the Down Token, Jeff. Just might be renamed, but not by the founders. So, in an announcement, the SEC alleged that CoinMe and Up Global misled investors in the 2017 ICO. Now, Jeff, they're going back to 2017. Remember all those ICOs? It was ICO season.
Oh man, ICO! It was out of control with the ICOs in 2017. That was a fun period of time too, because it's a ton of money that was being generated. It was all over the place, and then it came to a crashing halt when they realized that maybe that was like the perfect picture of what an unregistered security was the ICO, and even the name of it. I mean, how do you have like an IPO, ICO? Get a little bit too close to the verbiage there, to the vernacular, and guess who gets burned? And they get burned. And
guess who did get burned? A little project called Ethereum, Jeff, because they also did an ICO. Now the clever thing they did was they didn't call it an ICO. That's
right.
But it was an ICO, right? They offered it and everybody got caught up in that. And they're like, well, I mean, we can talk about that. It was 2015. So it's like 2017 we'll go back to. We won't go back to 2015. This is why this whole thing is completely bedlam, Jeff. It's completely messed up. It's a complete disaster. Makes no sense.
That's it, man. It's crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. K-HUD, look at K-HUD back in the trail here. So he says XRP is a stable asset built for unstable times. There you go. It is a stable asset.
It is a stable asset. It's probably one of the most stable, one of the best stable coins that exists. And Norseman is asking,
what do you think?
Here own firearms?
What do you think?
What's the
use your own imagination. What's the context of that question?
What are the odds? What are the odds that the majority of the people here listening in probably do own firearms?
That's what I would think, Jeff. I would think that's a pretty good guess if you had to guess. Davey X, thank you for that too. He says, great channel, great info. Thank you guys. Appreciate that, Davey X. And I love seeing this. And maybe you guys are in the chat. Maybe we don't always see it, but let's face it, we can't remember everybody. But it's great to see like someone like Davey X. Like just, it's exciting. And here's the weird thing is like if you guys are recent subs, let's say if you subscribed in the last month, go ahead. We'll do a shout out to you. If you subscribed to this channel like in the last month, throw in there, hey, I subbed in the last month. Love to give you guys a shout out because, again, we don't always get to see all the subs, and it's great when folks come in here as well. So thank you for that support. Really appreciate that. Goes on to say the fine announced by the SEC on Friday, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. So now the funny thing about this, Jeff, this can be just incredible. There were so many of these, right? The CoinMe operates a network of crypto ATMs where the users can withdraw cash in exchange for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And it was conceived as a reward for CoinMe's ATM customers. The firm states that it uses 1% of every transaction to purchase Up Token. And then the tokens are then given to customers in the form of a 1% cash back reward. And I'll just say this, that again, wanting to have a certain kind of utility around what we're doing with the badass Yetis, there's not only regulatory clarity. So, cautious to projects out there, NFT projects too, that are offering staking or are offering rewards. In other words, you buy an NFT and then let's suppose the royalty fee is set to 10%. So every time and that NFT is sold on the secondary market, everybody shares in that 10%, right? Across the board, right? Is that Aaron making his way in there? What's up, Aaron?
Is Aaron making his way in?
Aaron's making his way in. Ask Aaron what he thinks of the badass Yetis again. I'd love to hear his remark.
Here. Hang on a second. Here. I'll put
Here,
that in your ear real quick.
Aaron.
Here.
Let's get this full screen here. Aaron, hey, what's up, Aaron? Aaron, tell what do you think about the badass Yetis, man?
Yeah, everybody should buy them so they can make money.
Yeah,
But what do
That's
you
very
think-
cool.
that's
They're
not
very
the
cool.
reason. I'm asking you what you think of them. You thought they were pretty cool, right?
They're very nice.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one or no?
The,
Did Dad buy you one yet or no? You don't have one in your personal
he
wallet?
didn't buy
What's
me
up
one
with
I
yet.
didn't
Dad?
buy him one yet.
Come
I need to
on,
buy him
Dad.
one,
What's
though.
going on, man? You didn't even like
We're-
walk
we're
him through
gonna-
to get the excitement of being a minting one, a random
We're gonna
one
do it.
pops in your wallet?
We are going to do that.
Okay.
He
Good.
does need to get one. We
Good.
finally got him on. We finally got him on Greenlight.
Yeah.
Greenlight, man. I've been using Greenlight forever. Did you use my code, Jeff, or no?
No, we used another
Yeah,
code.
use-
I didn't even know you were on it until I saw your tweet on it.
No, man. I've been on it for 6 years. I'm an OG with Greenlight.
Man, I had no idea. Oh,
Yeah, that's been using it for 6 years, man. It's great. So you can distribute money. You get hit up with a text, and then you transfer the money, right? That's
He
how it
just-
works,
he
right,
just-
Aaron?
He
Aaron's
just
like,
used
"Hey,
it
Dad,
today,
I need some cash," and you're like, "Yeah," and you click a button, and it's there. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Did you
so
also
I got
know
to
that
use
you-
it today? It worked out well.
Jeff, did you also know that you
Yeah,
could
bought
limit that to what you purchase? So Aaron goes like, "Hey, man, I'm going to the mall, and I'm going to go buy, I'm going to Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that." You're like, "Cool." So you can set it so he only spends it at Dick's Sporting Goods. You know that you could do that kind of control.
I
of
had
it?
no idea, but I
Pretty
did put money
badass.
in, and he's investing now in stocks. So he invested in his two first stocks a week ago. He got
What did
into
what did he buy?
what'd you get? Netflix and Visa.
Yeah.
Start him off early, Jeff. You'd be a millionaire by the time you're 30, man.
Yeah, by the time he's 18.
By the time he's 18, too, Jeff, you'd be like,
Yeah.
All
like
right,
I tell
I'm
my
ready.
girls,
Okay, go have dinner.
like I tell my
That's
girls,
it.
you guys
All right,
are
look.
our retirement
Yeah, thanks.
plan.
Careful.
I saw the family.
Oh,
Hope you're having something good,
okay, good.
dude. I can't believe you didn't use my code.
I didn't even
We've
know
been
you
friends for
were-
all this
you were
time.
on it.
I can't even believe this. This is horrific. But by the time I tweet that out all the time.
That's so crazy. So another friend of mine uses it all the time, and I ended up using his code. So he's showing it to me.
I'm gonna
and
remember
that-
this, by the way. I'm gonna remember this. We'll see.
It's gonna go down
We'll see.
in infamy.
Yep. That's
I
how
had
I
no
send.
idea you used it. That's
That's
amazing.
how I send money. How do you think I get money to the
I don't know. It's amazing because
youngest
I
to
was
college.
debating. So I debated whether or not to do Greenlight. I was just going to get him a credit card. I figured if I gave him a credit card, I could just get him an American Express and just give him, you kind of add him to your own account. And then he has an Amex and almost
Dude, I
operates
told you
the
about
exact same
Greenlight like
way.
2 years ago, dude. At least 2 years ago.
Man, it must have just gone like, when I saw it, it was like it was brand new to me.
I was showing it to you. I was
But I
showing
think
you the app.
I registered for it maybe like a year ago, but I never used it.
Yeah. They're actually really good. Actually great to work with. Even the customer service too.
Huh.
With refunds and stuff like that, they've done a great job. So plug to that. But guys, don't worry. Let me talk to hang on a second, Jeff. Don't listen real quick. I'm gonna talk to my friends out there. So you guys really want to use my code? Do you guys want to use my code? Because Jeff wouldn't use it, even though I told him about it a couple years ago, but that's cool. But I'll throw the tweet in there, guys. And if you guys have kids, this is the greatest way to distribute money to them. If you hook it up to your bank account, they have the card. It's a Visa card, and it's going to put the picture on. They can put any picture they want on it. They can put anything they want on, which is really cool too.
Yeah.
And then when they get their card, then they can use it wherever they want, and then you can actually lock them down, like I just said. So I'll drop it in there, guys. I'll see what else.
Amazing.
I'll see what my OTC family is up for the challenge here. We'll see.
There's got to be some out there that want to do it.
I'm telling you, man, it's just so easy. Like even for allowance, like you got a kid that's like, they doing chores around the house. That was like kind of one of the things we did. Is like it's pretty remarkable. I can't believe it, man. After talking about it for years, and then I said, "Did you use my code?" And he's like, "No, I used some stranger's code." I'm like, "Okay,
It wasn't a stranger's code.
all right, if you must, man."
Man,
Man. Let's see. What do we got here? I'm trying to find that.
Kyle C is brand new over here. Subbed recently.
Kyle C, love you, man. Love you. Love it. It's good to see the recent subs, man. Really good to see it. Let's see. Where's my profile? I'll go ahead and I'll fish it out of here. I'll throw it in there.
Throw
It's
it
something
in.
really. I don't even know where it was.
Why are you doing that? So Miguel brings up another interesting point here. Smaller countries are joining BRICS because they'll be the most hurt with the de-dollarization. But at the same time, I think they're joining and following suit mainly because the parties that are involved in it are some of the bigger trade partners. So if you have India, and I still don't understand why India is doing anything with Russia and China, it still doesn't make any sense to me. But the fact that you have some of these, it's going to be a potential economic powerhouse, but you have a lot of the developing countries that are involved in this at this point.
All right, let's get into the real thing here, guys. Look at this. Got kids. Best way to distribute money. Been using Greenlight for years. I even told Jeff about it years ago.
That's the first time I ever saw you tweet about that.
No, I've tweeted about it before too. You can look at my timeline. Earn $45. Now they've never done this promotion though. Earn $45. See, you didn't get $45, did you?
No.
See, that's why you use my code. But you get $45 when you sign up, guys. So go ahead and sign up. And again, it's like $5 a month, but it's just an app on your phone. And what's cool, like my wife has it too, so I can see. You also see everywhere they spend it because you get a little notice that pops up on your phone. It's like, hey, they spent it here, they spent it there. You can see what happened. I see every place my our youngest daughter eats, up at college. So I see, what's she having tonight? So I get to see that as well, or where is she shopping, or all that. But again, they've never done this promotion. You get $45. So it's a really nice promotion. No. It's a kid's debit card, basically, but you can lock it down and do all kinds of cool stuff. Cool company, man. It's one of the companies that they're really a fintech in the space, and they do something really cool. They do offer a service. It would be nice, like Jeff's saying, how his son is investing. That's what, my daughter started doing years ago, is doing the investing as well. Like, hey, take some of your money and invest it. Take 20%, 20, 30% and invest it. But there you go, everybody. There it is. I dropped the link down into the chat so you guys can go ahead and do that.
Man, I'll tell you what, though, it is very cool to use. So each time he's bought something with it, I see it pop up. And at first, it hits my watch first, which is interesting, too. So I'll see a green light pop up on my watch, and then I'll go, and then I can see on the phone exactly what was purchased.
Yeah, it's a really cool company. Great customer service too. Limited time, $45. You get it. Put your mobile number in. That's how easy it is. You connect your bank account every time you're moving money. It's fantastic.
So
Chores
we got
done.
Slovakia's in the house over here, which is pretty awesome. Good to see Slovakia here with us. XRP Panic is saying, and here's an idea for you, Chip. Customize the Greenlight debit card, add Genza's photo, or how about a badass Yeti? Here's what I'm going to do, Chip. I'm going to get a badass Yeti. We'll get the NFT. I'll get it for Aaron, and then we will put the badass Yeti on the Greenlight card.
There you go, man. There you go. So yeah. So no, it's I like to talk about companies where, especially, you get the benefit from it. So if you benefit, you get your $45. It used to be 30. That's when I tweeted it last time. I think it was the
Hans is saying, can cash be drawn from the card? I don't think you can take cash out.
I don't think so.
Right? There's no ATM privilege. You can buy stuff with it, so if you're using it, and you can put it on your phone, you can put it into your Google Wallet.
Yeah.
So you can use it as part of the Google Wallet as well, which is
cool. It's a little more advanced in our household. We have Apple, so just put an Apple Pay. So click.
We have Apples too.
Apple Pay, baby. So that's how it's done in our household. So it's all done that way, and that's how we do it, man. Greenlight. That's right. Moneybags, Bob, not Bob. That's a Greenlight. That's it. I dropped it in there, guys. I'll drop it in
link
again.
Right there. It says.
But if you click on that link, you guys get $45 for signing up.
It's pretty sweet.
Again, and the funny thing is with my older daughter, I did use a card, and it was a credit card, and it was through one of these big banks I'm not going to mention. And this one was just so easy. It was like, click, you need to move money. She'll text me, hey, Pop, I need money. Click, open the app, click, move the money, enter the money, done. She gets the notice. Everyone gets the notice. It's done. And the funny thing about that, Jeff, you think about that when we think about how we move value. Yeah, is the money there? No, but they know the transactions in play, and they're fronting the money because it'd be cool if like it was that quick, but obviously we know that remittance isn't happening that fast. But it's just cool that it's instant. Like if I was to send $100, that $100 is as soon as they get the notice, like in a couple seconds, then that's available to spend. So I like how they do that too, and it's worked really well so. 2 years ago, all right.
Greenlight sub 2 years ago, it says, still you choose to disregard the innovation of BRC20 and it's early. I want us XRP holders to finally get a big win. It's like buying ETH for $5. So I'm looking it up, and there is a lot of activity in the BRC20 space. So, and I'm sure it's going to pick up. You know, it's going to have some traction, just like the XLS20, and I still think that Ethereum is so far ahead of all the others. It's become, the recognized entity. It's kind of like everyone talks about Bitcoin. Well, if you're going to create a spin-off, or you're going to create another asset or a spin-off asset from another one, you're going to do it. You're going to use the ERC20 platform. But this BRC20, can be interesting. There you go. It's got a market cap of 94 million with 7,000 total that are here. We'll have to do a little bit of researching here and see where these are accessible. But look at a lot of them are in that sub, really no way to buy them valuation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, anything has, here's one, I don't understand that. Total market cap's 94 million. The Ordi is 60 million. So Ordi is the bulk of everything. Limit per mint is 1,000. And then you've got the SHIB. I wonder what SHIB this is. I'll have to look at that SHIB.
That's something different.
It is something different. It's not the
That
SHIB.
is something different.
Completely
Here we go.
different.
And on another news, 5 charge and Hydro token manipulation case. This is the SEC's announcement came 5 days after the SEC won a major victory in another case earlier in the week. Authorities in Miami revealed that 5 individuals have been charged in relation to a market manipulation case brought by the SEC. Those charged include the firm's CEO, co-founder Michael Caine, not the actor Michael Caine, though.
You sure?
K-A-N-E. No, it's spelled differently. It's not C-A-I-N-E, but who knows? Maybe he was using a pseudonym. The court ruled that the defendants manipulated the market for Hydro by artificially inflating it. Jeff, that's so weird. I didn't think that it could possibly happen. That actually happens? Yeah, and so it created the illusion of investor interest, the court stated. Now, here's the funny thing. There is somebody right now who sold a company, a smaller company to a major company, and she made all the customers up. Made them all up. It was like a big, big story, right? But here they make it seem like that never happens. Like, oh my gosh, look at this. They had no intention of fulfilling it. It was a complete rug pull. They created the illusion of investor interest, and the court stated. Hydrogen Technology and Caine are now liable to pay fines of $2.8 million and $260,000 respectively. But who knows, Jeff? Maybe they made $40 million and they're like, cool,
that's what
man,
I'm
we're off the hook.
Yeah. so
This is awesome.
That's the big question. It's like, how much did they actually make?
It's like, we got to pay $2.2 million. How about if we do a deal? And it's like, meanwhile, they're laughing all the way to the bank. It's
right.
possible.
So Garlic Brad is saying, good evening, Chip and Jeff. Love your show. Love your values. May we all rise to $11 plus XRP. There's a bull run.
I like
That's
the way you
good
think,
one.
Garlic Brad.
Garlic
Brad leaves a lot of comments too.
Garlic Brad is thinking, and Jim D is saying, are we doing a free Yeti roll tonight?
I think we're doing a purchase roll today where you guys roll a dice and then you figure out how many you're going to buy tonight. That's what we probably ought to do. It's like, just roll a dice. It's going to be 1 through 6. And, if you get all 7, you get a bonus Yeti. But, something along those lines.
You get a 7.
Look at this right here. The court charges. I'm sorry. This was the. This was it right here.
Before.
No, I know, but this is ERC. This is an ERC20 token right here. This is the main article that it was linking to, but this is an ERC20. How many other ERC20 coins will end up going down? So it resulted in 2 million investor losses, but how much did they make? That's what I was trying to figure out, how much the conspirators made 2 million in profits. from their
All
sales.
right,
So they got to
wait,
pay
so if they made 2 million, but now they have to pay
2.8
2.8
million.
plus 2.8 plus 260,000, so basically over 3 million. So they made 2 in profits, and they're going to have to pay out 3.
And it's like, and a lot of times, I mean, but what about what the SEC did to the XRP investors, right? When they levied this massive lawsuit, and they want to go back to 2013, but they have no interest in going to 2015 and charging Ethereum. I just don't understand it. Like, why? And how about Stellar? How about anything else? Like, how about things that came after Ripple? And how about Ripple didn't? They inherited the token. This is why none of this makes sense. It's like, first of all, Ripple, the tokens were already minted. They took it over, right? There was no. Now Ethereum is blatant. It was an ICO. They talked about it for a year. They talked about how you could get in. If you get in early, they even said that you can buy anonymously. You can set up an anonymous Gmail address, anything, and you could buy multiple times. And it would be so anonymous and nobody would know. No KYC, no AML. Be a whale, buy anonymously with the impression that you would profit off of it, Jeff. That's a security all day long. Why did they avoid it? And why did they go way back to 2013 and go after Ripple? Bizarre to me. Makes zero sense.
Yeah, well, I think we're seeing the unfolding of the objective, the initiative. At least we know where Gary Gensler stands on it and what he's all about and what the other cronies. So if you have, the Maxine Waters and the Elizabeth Warrens and the rest of them, you kind of see their objective and their agenda, So we know what they feel, we know what they believe. And, fortunately, things are changing. So even though we see, the whole world is preparing themselves. So, and here's the question, and I don't fault other countries around the world for wanting to de-dollarize, especially given what we've seen over the past couple of years, that may have very well accelerated these countries' desire to de-dollarize. So even though they might have talked about it and they were slow rolling the movement, because we know Russia's attempted SWIFT alternatives for many, multiple times for many years. They've had a SWIFT alternative. And so now we're at this juncture where, look who's running this country right now. Look at the chaos that's ensued, even from a morality perspective in this country. The country's, balancing and they're dipping a big toe into the immorality, and so it's just warping society. There was an interesting commentary. I don't know if anyone knows who Camille Paglia is. She was a big leader in the feminist movement out of the 60s. But to today, she's relatively popular and has been on all the different talk shows. They were asking her, and she's come out very vehemently against the movements that she's seen today, and saying that there's such a massive overreach, that a distortion of society. But she was saying that when societies have come towards their peak, before they go over the eclipse, like in Greece and in Rome and other countries, they ended up in a similar period that we're in right now. And so I think this is the morality issue is very reminiscent and very similar to the issues that we're having from our financial structures. And so, everything that we're seeing unfold right now, there's a battle being waged, and we have to decide what side of this battle we want to be on. And I believe that at the end of the day, people want freedom, and it is a battle right now for freedom and the lack thereof. And they want to take away individual liberty and individual freedoms. Cryptocurrency and decentralization represents that freedom. So if you can democratize money and put the money back into the hands of the people and the power into the hands of the people, Chip, that's everything. So freedom through crypto.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. And that's kind of where crypto is going to win in the end. We all know how the movie ends, but it's going to be a little bit of a battle, and there's going to be some collateral damage, like you mentioned the other day. XRP enthusiast and Australian-based lawyer Bill Morgan believes the fact that Coinbase crypto exchange delisted or ceased to allow the trading of XRP might hurt their fair notice defense to a claim by the SEC. In the past week, Coinbase formally responded to a Wells notice from the SEC. Wells notice is the way that the SEC staff tells the company that they're basically have incoming with a lawsuit. And Bill Morgan said this. He said, the fact that Coinbase delisted or ceased allowing trading of XRP can hurt its fair notice defense to a claim by the SEC. In its Wells notice response, the fair notice defense is anticipated by Coinbase as a defense. It will argue if sued. And he said, seriously, if Coinbase is going to run this argument in a defense to a claim for the SEC, and I mean that its decision to delist, an ongoing decision to not relist XRP, is entirely inconsistent and an inconvenient fact. Let me just rephrase the submission to reinforce the point. And then he goes on to say, he just basically points out the fact that Coinbase, the Wells notice response, says that they're ever sued. He adds that Coinbase contends it has a stronger fair notice defense than the other defendants, even if the footnote ripples fair notice defense. So while this appears to be a good thing, Morgan claims that Coinbase faces a problem because it delisted in January 2021, which is, wow, it was like lickety split. It was dropped in December 2020, and then boom, in January, people were scurrying trying to get it off. And he says that Coinbase, this puts Coinbase on notice of its listing process might have captured securities, but they were trying to go public at the time. I don't think they were public. John Deaton said, I understand Bill Morgan's well-articulated points on this, but we can't underestimate the impact of Coinbase's IPO on the decision to suspend trading of XRP. Coinbase went public in April of 2021, less than 4 months after Ripple lawsuit. Coinbase needed SEC approval. And Jeff, we brought this up the other day, right?
I was going to say, yeah, that sounds very familiar in terms of what we were talking about the other day. And it's spot on. The fact that Deaton brought it up. There's so many more variables to it. You have to look at the whole story. It's not just about Brian Armstrong saying, "Hey, I don't like XRP, and we're going to delist it." You could ask the question as to why Coinbase didn't list it in the beginning. Why did it take them so long to list it? But I can remember having to go to Bitstamp to buy XRP because you couldn't find an exchange. You had to buy Bitcoin, and you could go to Coinbase to buy Bitcoin. Then you'd have to move your move your Bitcoin over to Bitstamp, and then you'd have to buy XRP with Bitstamp, and then now your XRP is over there, and then you had to figure out what to do with it. And so it was a whole different world at that time. And then Coinbase and Chip, you kind of brought up the other day that each exchange, started to, when they add an asset, there's a lot more than just saying, hey, oh, here you go. It's time to add XRP. So just flip the switch and you're adding, there's a whole orchestration behind what they have to do from a technical perspective, I'm sure, to prepare for it. Not saying that's an excuse as to why it took so long for Coinbase to add it. But even when they didn't add it, I didn't really care because it didn't stop me from finding a way to get XRP. And I just bought on a different exchange. It wasn't, I don't see, Coinbase being the end all be all because there's other exchanges that can't buy, where you can't buy XRP or you can't buy other assets. So you're going to go to where you can buy your asset. If you want to go to Bitrue, if you're on Binance, if you're on Kraken or Gemini or Coinbase or Uphold, wherever you are, you are. It's just
prolific, Jeff. Wherever you are.
That's it.
That's it. It's pretty simple, man.
That's how it is. I'm not going to put too much weight in overall into Coinbase, but now I think this lawsuit is super, super meaningful.
Yeah,
yeah.
XRP Speedboat, thank you for being an on-the-chain member. You guys can join if you're on YouTube. You can just click the join button there. But he says Gensler, Waters, Congress, etc. means nothing because everything's outsourced to think tanks and the private sector. Always has been, always will. Ripple, along with the other organizations, are all part of these think tanks. Yeah, to a certain degree. That does go on. Between that and the lobbyists fighting for that, and there's no direct payoffs, but there's political payoffs. There's all kinds of stuff. It's all part of that big, I would say that big scene to
And like Yankton is saying, I would like to see scam coins get delisted. I would like to see, entities like like a Mount Gox or an FTX be fully, be held fully accountable instead of letting them skate by. And that's the other major issue with Coinbase, Chip, we brought up the other day, is that the SEC approved them to go public. In order to approve them to go public, they dug into everything they had in order to approve it. And they can't come back 2 years later and say, oh, by the way, we were just kidding.
Well, you can't if you're Gary Gensler, you can do all kinds of crazy things.
If you're a Gary douchebag, you can do whatever you want.
Joe Blow says, since all but 2 states have declared homelessness is against the state laws, to start a coin to help homelessness is not legal. So some have already been arrested for giving money to the homeless. And, that reminded me of the crackdown. It's like, oh, you Venmo somebody money, and then, we're tracking like every $7. It's just, we're getting to the point where it's getting beyond ridiculous. It's getting to the point of where everybody wants to be in your business. And this is where these CBDCs, it's a complete joke. I mean, CBDCs, there's so many people out there going, oh, CBDCs are fantastic. I see a lot of YouTubers talking about how great it is. Well, do please elaborate on the part that is fantastic, because I'm still waiting to hear it. I haven't heard anything that's going to be fantastic about it except create, you're not printing money. It's like, no, we're just creating value. Okay, so we're getting away from printing money to creating value, Jeff. And it's just the whole... John Deaton goes on to say that before some people claim how disappointed they are, that I'm defending Coinbase's decision to suspend XRP. Remember, I filed a writ of mandamus versus the SEC on January 1st, 2021. And in March 2021 stated that the Coinbase, Kraken, and others should join me and file a motion to intervene, right? So it's a little bit of going back in a little history revisited. And I'm calling like I see it. And I have no doubt that the overwhelming advice, like 99%, if not 100%, Coinbase received by regulatory compliance lawyers and litigators, and was to suspend and not interfere with the IPO. Who knows? The SEC may have strongly suggested suspending. We don't know. That's a good point, Jeff. We don't know. Strongly suggested. Hey, I'm going to make an offer you can't refuse. A little Godfather there, Jeff. What are you going to do? Man. And there you have it.
And Joe Buddy is saying, stop blaming Gensler. The voters who put him there are to blame. But it was actually, since he's an unelected bureaucrat, he was appointed to the position of chair of the SEC. But Joe does bring up a solid point in that it's not up to Gary to write the law, right? So, and then,
Correct.
We've said that many times here. Gary Gensler is appointed. He's appointed by the current administration. Gary Gensler was on the hot seat. He has direct connection to the Steele dossier when he was the head of the CFO for the Hillary Clinton campaign. So there's a lot of tie-ins to what he did, what he didn't do. He's also the head of the CFTC for a little while, appointed. But the point that Joe's bringing up here that I think is really important is that you can't blame Gary Gensler for not having accurate law or just operating in the lack of law. So he's operating in this environment where there's nothing that's stopping him from doing what he's doing because we have no regulatory clarity, but it's not his doing to put in place regulatory clarity. This goes back to Congress. So if we are to point fingers, and it's very important to point the fingers back at Congress because they're the ones, and even Gary Gensler, and that's why we say that even Gary Gensler said, hey, if you want the laws, Congress, you need to pass the law. And that's exactly where it all starts. And the Token Taxonomy Act sat there and went, fell on deaf ears. And all the different legislation is just falling on deaf ears. But now there's an opportunity with the House to actually see legislation passed. And hopefully we see some serious legislation passed through the Congress. Then we'll see what happens, or at least through the House. And then we'll see what happens when it goes to the Senate. But right now we're in this bizarre, awkward phase where even some of the congressmen, keep referring back to Gary and saying, you haven't done anything to provide clarity. But it's not his role to provide clarity. So there you go, Chip. That's how it is.
That is exactly how it is, Jeff. I mean, sadly enough, I mean, it's kind of the way it works. But I also like this tweet that John Deaton put out. I don't know why. Why is this saying I'm not logged in? I am logged in. Twitter being Twitter.
So
And this,
we have 5 minutes left. Are we prepared to do a drawing here?
I don't think we are
YouTube
tonight.
presence, or
No,
are
we don't have
gonna
enough
push this
time.
over to Twitter?
I think
I
we're
would
gonna
like
do
to
the next.
do it on Twitter, but maybe we have to do one more on YouTube. We were planning on doing one here on YouTube, but then the process of doing it didn't really function as planned, but we need to be able to do one. So I think we should plan one for maybe Wednesday, but we got to figure out how to do this on Twitter. Really, the place to do it is on Twitter. So maybe stay tuned within our Discord and our Twitter, and then we're going to put out some information on how we're going to roll that out over the next coming days. What do you say, Chip?
Yeah, I think
Twitter's
that's a
the
good
place.
idea. I think that's a good idea too. And I just wanted to, like, before we leave here tonight, I wanted to say this only because somebody I've known in the crypto community for a really long time. But this pretty sad news to hear this, that we lost somebody in the community. And why, oh why, my God, this is really annoying as hell. I don't know why it's saying I'm not logged in, because I am logged in. It's just the craziest thing ever, Jeff. Skip for now. Let's do this. But as many of you may or may not know too, but Ali G, known her for maybe around the crypto community 4 or 5 years. And, she lost her husband. So it's one of these really crazy things also in the crypto as well. And had some personal interactions with both of them. And, for somebody who's really valued in the community also too, I can say about Ali G, very big supporter when the channel first got started. From Australia. So anyway, just heart goes out. Really sad thing. I don't know how you come back from something like this. It's just it's just crushing. But again, send a lot of prayers and a lot of positive vibes out to Ali G. So just remember, guys, no matter where you are, somebody's struggling with something. We might be struggling with what's going on with the SEC, but again, sometimes there's things that are really key and important that are happening out there. So that's all. I just wanted to put that out there because it was just kind of a really horrific thing to see today. There you go. Yep. Life is precious. That's a good, well said. Really well said. Rest in peace. Yeah. Legendary. Life is precious. It sure is, guys. Yeah. Lord, give her strength. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that is incredibly sad, El Jefe. Yeah, it is horribly sad. So,
Yep.
So
that is what we've got, Chip.
So we have tonight, guys. So just wanted to do a shout out. I know we kind of like got away from us today. We will do. Don't worry, we'll do more giveaways, guys. It's not over. We're good. And if you want to get a badass Yeti, I will drop the link if you want to. You're like, hey, I've been thinking about one of those badass Yetis. Here it is. You go click over there. The cool thing about hooking up your wallet and going there with your mobile phone is you can connect it. And then when you mint it, it's kind of fun because you're going to get one of 7. You don't know which one you're going to get. It kind of makes it sort of it's like one of those vinyl toys when those toys that are like, you got to open it to figure out which one you got. So it's that type of thing until they're all minted. But we are 29% minted here, Jeff. You can see that right there, 29% minted. And there you have it.
And there you have it.
There's some of the cool badass Yetis that have been minted already. There they are. So it's still a bunch of them left. We're 30% into it, guys. Thank you so much for your support, for making that happen. Very awesome. So that's all I have, Jeff.
I do want to put it out there. If there's anybody that's listening and you guys have any experience, and I had a good chat with somebody today, but if you have any experience working with Discord bots and you've been able and you program Discord bots, reach out to us via DM. We have part of the project that we're working on, and we could use some help putting together a Discord bot that has something to do with a game. So if you could reach out to us, that'd be really helpful. And you can get to us on our Twitter. So if you go to On The Chain Twitter to shoot us a DM, make sure that you're following us first. Shoot us a DM and let us know. Or you can go to Badass Yetis. Go to Badass Yetis, at Badass Yetis on Twitter. Throw us a DM over there. Join, subscribe over there as well. And throw us a DM over there. And that way, and just let us know if you have experience programming a Discord bot. So that's all I've got, Chip.
Yeah, there you go, right there, guys. You can come over there. Again, we're up to almost 500 followers, so I'm going to drop this in there too. If you guys are on Twitter, please give us a follow. I'd love to have a follow. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, but you can keep up to date what's going on with those little badass Yetis.
Brian
And,
likes number 78, and Chip actually, sorry, I didn't, but this is Brian got this one, 101. I think that was it's a really nice Yeti right there.
Sweet. Yeah, Brian, it was good chatting with you last week as well. And also, too, you can go to our website, onthechain.io, click on the contact form. And I believe this is how Brian reached out to us, which was awesome. So Brian went out here and sent us a message and, put your name, your email, subject. We don't like spam, so don't worry, you're not going to get spammed or anything. But it's just another way to reach us. And that's how Brian reached out to us as well. So, but we will be doing some other giveaways, and we will be doing the Twitter one as well. So, and you'll have to do something like you'll have to follow Jeff, you'll have to follow me, you have to follow the Badass Yetis, and you'll have to tag 3 of your friends. See how that works? We help it grow. That's gonna be. I'm just letting you know what's coming. It's not hard. I always say tag 3, but man, when those contests, I tag 10 people. Why? Because if I don't win, I want somebody I know that wins. So that's part of it. Anything before we get out of here, Jeff?
That's it, but you guys are the best and the brightest in all of the crypto YouTube space. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys join us here with our live streams and the show behind the show as we read everybody's comments, which is outstanding. I'd appreciate you guys, and we will be back Wednesday evening, and we'll check you guys out on the next one.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. I was like, why were you slowing down? You were reading something or something. You were reading Jim D's tweet.
I was reading Alan's tweet.
I was like, you were talking. You're talking and
keep slowing down. I was seeing if there's a comment we had to post.
I'm going to play the outro now. Slow down. Slow down, Sean. Slow down, Sean. That's what we're gonna do. All right, guys. We're out of here. Seriously, it's been an hour, guys. Love you guys. We'll see you back here on Wednesday. We'll do another Yeti giveaway. We'll start the process early in the time. And if you ever won before, remember, you can't even put Badass Yeti. You can't talk about Badass Yeti because it'll pick it up. And that's what happened when we had a dual winner that happened, and we don't want that to happen. That's what happened with Brian. Brian's like, honestly, man, I didn't participate in the contest, but you probably talked about Badass Yetis, and that's how I picked it up. So anyhow,
so we'll get that. We're gonna get the Twitter one going. Check out the Discord. A lot of cool engagement. That's it. We got to get out of here, and we'll check you guys out on Wednesday evening.
Do you guys?
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.